My God. I've heard some stupid concepts in my fucking time. And one of the dumbest concepts I have ever heard is a concept called spam approaching. So I'll explain to you why I think RSD's spam approaching is the most dangerous concept on earth. And I'm gonna make videos. I don't care if I make money or not. I'm here to help people. People are in fear. People are in fear because of the coronavirus. So I'm gonna give you guys some hope, some good advice, because I enjoy doing this. So I'm gonna teach you guys exactly why spam approaching will ruin your life, and how you can practice at home, and then you can start to use this to your advantage. All right, let's begin. First of all, I don't care if you're here or not. I'm gonna teach you guys anyways. I don't care if there's a coronavirus. John Elite's not in it for the money. John cares about his students. John's gonna teach people, and I feel no fucking fear of the coronavirus. I'm not even afraid. I'm not emotionally affected. So let's begin. All right, so the first lesson is, there what I was as a day game coach, trying to get my students laid before. The thing is at the time, I was telling them to stop using RSD concepts. The big problem was that they kept spam approaching. That meant getting all rejected nonstop. They're wasting a lot of precious time, all right? And by chance, something amazing happened. I taught social calibrations about body language. I swear I don't have coronavirus. I've always been coughing a lot. Gets you laid way faster, even for hard cases. And instantly, it became crystal clear to me how to practice game at home with a mirror to improve your social calibrations. Because I saw spam approaching is zero skills. Zero. So I started to create a product called Elite 30 and Kaizen, which dealt with body language and social calibrations. But I didn't stop there. I then added social skills to the program Elite 30. After that, I focused on less approaches and more polling. Hope that makes sense. And building on that success, I decided to educate people that RSD concepts isn't effective or efficient. I call it bring women back home on the first approach. And to do that, okay, now we can teach students how to practice at home to increase their social calibrations and social skills so they can pull easily on the first approach. And if they are calibrated, that's why I'm so excited to share with you guys. So the very first concept is, hey man, what's up? So the very first concept I want to teach you guys is that spam approaching or mass approaching, or what they call taking massive action, is actually extremely, extremely dangerous. You're going to ruin your entire life. And I'm going to use a metaphor. I'm going to get right to the point. When I use this metaphor, you guys will start to understand. How many of you have seen ads on YouTube? You always seen these ads, for example. In the beginning, they have some kind of title, and then it has a video. You see this on Facebook or YouTube, and they'll play a video or something. Like this is a video. And on the bottom, there's like a call to action to click here. Some description and call to action. I'm going to explain to you with this concept why RSD's spam approaching is the most dangerous thing in the world. Imagine this. Oh, Dana Coach says it's all a numbers game. I don't believe in numbers game. A woman will be home on my bed in the first approach every single time. And it's on my fucking front site. And I can post more. Every single time, almost. So what the fuck? Is it really spam approaching? Is it a numbers game? When you dress a little bit nicer, and you also have social calibrations in the body language, is it really a numbers game? Is it really, by the way I'm speaking with my tonality, is this really a numbers game? Does this take some kind of calibrations? Of course it takes some kind of calibrations. And this is what you guys don't understand. Okay, where's the cat? Who gives a shit? We just leave it like that. So let's talk about it. And this is where it's so important. So first of all, you got to think it's like an ad. Now it's playing an ad. Imagine that guys who are marketers, and I'm not a marketer. I'm a dating coach. The other marketers are RSD, and they don't give a fuck about you guys. They don't care about you guys at all. They just want to make money from you guys. The last thing they want to do is to give you value right now and to help you guys in this time of turmoil and in this time of fear. So let's begin. When the ad's playing, somebody has to pay for an ad. That means every single ad, they call it CPM, click per whatever, or CP, whatever they call it. Whenever you click on an ad, you have to pay money out of your bank account to Facebook or YouTube. And I'm going to explain how that relates to RSD. Because they're reaching people on a massive scale. They're 10xing it. They are taking massive action, massive ads everywhere. It's the same as mass approaching. The problem with that is that they don't have the calibrations. So over here, there might be a story that you sometimes see on ads. They're like, hey, guys, if you want to buy my course, blah, 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 and you just click on the link below. Well, the problem with that is that if you're not calibrated, if you're not well-dressed, and if you are like socially uncalibrated, you don't know how to speak, you're like RSD. You're driving massive ads and not a lot of people are clicking through. Not a lot of people are clicking through. And so what happens is that when that happens, women start to get pissed off because you're massively taking a numbers game of a lack of calibrations. Now, let's say, for example, for this ad, let's say, for example, it has a very good headline. It hooks you. It hooks you by the neck and also has a very, very good video. And people really like it. They like what they're hearing. And it has a good description. And people are clicking in on it. That's kind of like going for Insta dates or polling or whatever the fuck. So basically, that's calibrated. So basically what RSD is doing is that they are spamming an ad, which is them, the person doing day game. They are spamming it over and over and over and over again. Over and over and over again with bad fashion, without any sort of social skills, without the ability to speak in a good tonality like I can do. And that's a very hard thing for RSD people to grasp because they're always speaking in a very bad tonality. They have very bad body language and they believe wearing RSD hoodies is the way to go. And that's so bad because it really ruins people's lives. The ads concept explains everything. It is a lack of calibration. So let me ask you a question, guys. If your ad or who you are when you're approaching women is better, is more calibrated, the copywriting, the sales letter, the message, the headlines, if it's much better, when you open more sets, wouldn't it hook more? Let me ask you a question. Does it hook more? The answer is obviously yes. It'll hook a lot more. And what happens is that, you know, not just like hook. What about the fashion? If it's better, will it hook more? Body language better, will it hook more? Answer is yes. And if you got social skills, will it hook a lot better, especially when you're learning all this stuff in calibrations? The answer is 100% fucking yes. Yes. So what RSD is doing with the ads is that they're spamming it. They're what they call taking massive action. But what happens if you take massive action like an Asian person? An Asian person speaks like, hi, like this, okay? I imitate the Asians. No offense to the Asians. I want to get buttered. Asian people would be like, hi, I thought you were cute. I wanted to come by and say hi. Oh, yeah. And then after the timing, they waste 3 fucking minutes talking to her, thinking they have social skills or social calibrations. So they'll be hunching like this with the beta tonality of talking. So if they were an ad, they're constantly getting rejected over and over and again. So they'll be like, oh, how you doing? Oh, that's great. Oh, yeah, 3 minutes. Then, what's your number? Do you text? And what happens? You get a flake. Flake, 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 flake. Every single time. So these things could be calibrated. And that's the problem with thinking it's a numbers game, because everyone does the same kind of numbers game. They believe that if you have like 3 minutes, hi, you're cute, it's almost like a Tinder street game. She either can say swipe left, depending on which direction it is, or swipe right. When she swipes left, then you're automatically rejected because you're doing this numbers game. And the 3-minute conversation, you might have the wrong energy. You might have the wrong calibrations. And what happens is when you start approaching her, she's not hooking. In fact, you might even get in trouble at the mall. At the mall, you might actually get kicked out. And that's very common among RSD victims. They get kicked out of the malls all the time, especially here in Vancouver. It is a very dangerous thing to not be calibrated. So the question is, the ad concept, can the person have more click-through rates? CTRs. Can the person have more people clicking here into the ad? And the answer is absolutely, through calibrations. And this is not a numbers game. This is not a numbers game, guys. This is actually a game of calibrations. This is a game of what they call skill. Skill. So on right here, skill. The problem is that we always want to think it's game. As you guys saw my red pill videos, I dissected every category of game. And a lot of you are surprised. You'd be like, oh my God, John, I thought it's all red pill game. Like RSD Tyler told you guys. But you realize, holy shit, John's telling that the blue pill has social skills. Social skills, which my Pakistani mentor says, social skills is social domination. Social skills is social domination. You guys realize for now that you guys been wasting a lot of precious time because you think you can say to her, hi, you're cute, 3-minute conversation, running your ads, getting no click-through rates, getting flaked on, no Insta dates, no polling, because you have this misplaced idea that it's a numbers game. They tell you it's a numbers game. But every single time, I have a very high CTR, click-through rate, click-through rate. And that's the problem. If I can bring the women back home on top of my bed in the very first approach over and over, then obviously there is something to do with calibrations. There's something to do with calibrations. So we got to think it's a skill. For example, right now when you hear me speaking, I have a student that asked me to teach him some skills so we can see how they relate together. Because right now in this economy, when you're an employee and it's like skills, you guys are thinking high income job. What happens when the job's affected by the coronavirus? It gets wiped out. So let's talk about skills, because I believe in the future when AI takes over all of our jobs, it's going to be a skill economy. I'll say this again, it's going to be a skill economy. So what's happening is that over here is a skill, sales, or high ticket sales. And for me, I have a 90% close rate. Next one's called public speaking. You can make money public speaking. And you can see how RSD is really lacking in these areas. Not in like marketing. They're absolutely amazing public speakers, especially RSD Jeffy, because he knows how to game everyone. Every single person, he knows how to game them. Besides public speaking, you also got like copywriting. It's almost like text game, copywriting. Sales letters, copy, RITING, copywriting. And lastly is consulting. Based on all these 4 skills, think about this. You can go to any field in the world and still succeed. But how does this relate to game? It's kind of like, remember the chart before? Let's use the corner over here. Remember how it's like social skills, social calibrations, SS, SC, emotional intelligence, and lastly, game. So game is like sales. It's only a small part of everything. And you guys have been focusing nothing on game. So game equals sales, GAME. Public speaking could be like body language, because you need to have a certain amount of degree of tonality control, body language, congruency in order to do public speaking. So this one is a lot like, social calibrations, SC, social calibrations. And now you guys are realizing a lot. Copywriting is like text game. And consulting can be like something else, like maybe emotional intelligence or something. I don't know. But regardless, these are called skills. These skills that you guys are not focusing on, the naturals, the real naturals, the guys who are very, very good at game, and they can speak to women in a very, very relaxed tone of voice. They can speak in such a way it's like, excuse me, I just have a quick question. I know it's random as hell, and there's like the coronavirus, and people are very, very scared. But I was just curious about you. I just want to know more about you. Actually, I was walking this way, and I saw you going here to the dollar store, and I just was noticing you, and I just want to put you on notice that I did notice you. By the way, my name is Jonathan. I know this is like we have to have a social distancing. Maybe we can elbow with elbow. So this is a calibration. By the way, what's your name? Oh, Anna. Actually, that's not a very good name. Like, not a bad name, but it's not a good name, and I want nothing from you. So a lot of this is skills, the way you speak, body language, everything, the right tonality to activate her mind. So when you look at this chart, for example, you look at everything. You look at sales, public speaking, copywriting, let's see, consulting. I had a student, and I'm going to tell you a story because this is really cool. When I tell you this story, it's going to make a lot more sense. I had a student who basically got 3 lays in a row. If you're watching this, I just want to say hi. In case that you're watching this in the future. He's engaged right now. My student's Asian guy. He's the guy that says like, 3 condom wrappers. Remember that testimonial? And then he banged like 3 women. That's him. He's engaged right now. But the point is that he was like, he wanted to be my student again. He's Skype. So I decided to work with him. He asked me, John, can you help me? Can you teach me some skills? I was like, skills? I don't know if my skills in terms of being a dating coach, the world's best dating coach with 430 late poll testimonials, how does it translate to your particular field? I have no idea. So I decided to teach him some sales. In the very first 10 days, guess what happened? He sold within 3 weeks. Within 3 weeks, he sold $1.8 million worth of stuff. And he was like, what the flying fuck? One after another, he fucked up one of them. And I have a 90% sales rate on the phone. But for him, he fucked up one of them. But regardless, he's never seen anything like this in a particular industry. He says, this is unheard of. With the skills I taught him, he closed even a lawyer with all that negotiation skills. So now you're realizing, oh shit. So John can teach a student in 10 days how to close $1.8 million. And I'm not here to sell you anything. I just want to help you guys open your mind, because a lot of people need me right now. They need the clarity. RSD don't give a fuck. The other dating coaches don't give a fuck. They are just after your money. They're gaming you. I'm here to give value. I'm here to help people. That's my mission. And today I even help another student, Indian guy. You know, they always turn like red eyes. They always turn like lower self and then evil gear. I give him like my product for free. Playbook. I know he can never afford it, especially in India. People like him was a student. He already got 3 lays. But the next story, I decided, you know, what the fuck? He can never afford it in his lifetime. I want to help him. That's how I think. And today's my birthday, by the way. You know it's my birthday? March 16th. It is my birthday. So I'm spending it with you guys to give you guys some clarity. All right. So next skill you're talking about is very important. It's called public speaking. Did you know this, student? There was a competition around the world called Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a competition where everyone competes against each other for public speaking. And public speaking is a skill. I don't know if I'm good at it or not. I don't know if I'm speaking in a good way, but he's won 3 Toastmasters in a row. And now he's competing on a state level in the United States. And pretty soon, the final competition, which I know he'll make it to, he's going to be competing or supposed to be competing in Paris. You're like, shit. So he's won every single competition for a guy who was a total loser in public speaking. He could barely speak at all. He lost every competition for 6 months in a row. You're like, shit. So you're saying by John Elite's skill, he's won everything. He's clean sweep. He's beaten everyone in his Toastmaster club. The answer is absolutely, because it's a skill. All of this is a skill. And that's what you guys don't realize. Because you think with RSD that if you give a compliment, hi, you're cute, I want to come by and say hi. I know it's random. And a 3-minute conversation. You believe that this is a skill. If you guys are getting this, give this a thumbs up. You believe that that is a skill, but that's not skill, because there's no calibration when you're hunching over and up talking like an Asian person. Hi, want to come by and say hi? Oh, wow. Oh, cool. Oh, nice. That's not calibrations. In fact, that would destroy your life. And that's my point. That's my point. If I could teach a guy to get this kind of skill in such a short amount of time, in 10 days, and he can make over like $1.8 million. He wants to work with me now, which is great. So I get a commission of that. He has to buy something, like he has to sell it, buy it, and then sell it, and then I make the money. So that's good. And any of the year, he's going to do just fine. But the coronavirus, a lot of people are very scared. So therefore, they're not going to develop their skills. And this is what I want to teach you guys, is that at home, the secret behind me, okay, pulling a woman back home on the very first approach, every single time, I decide to review it. Because a lot of times you always think, well, I got to spam approach more. I got to make more approaches. But I'm telling you, it's the opposite. In order to get this kind of skill, to have a high click-through rate, I actually practice in front of a mirror. You guys are like, holy shit, John's actually practicing in front of the mirror. I actually practice in such a way that you can see my hands and stuff. I can speak in a very natural way. And when I speak to women like this, excuse me, I just have a question. You just have a very creative, I usually say 45, an artistic look about you. So I was curious. Are you an artist by any chance? Because, when I see you, you give off this very creative vibe. Creative and artistic, but not everyone's like that. I'm just curious about you. So are you an artist by any chance? Oh, you're not an artist, right? That's kind of bad though. I mean, you do have a creative and artistic vibe. That's why I was coming to speak to you, by the way. So the thing is that when I'm speaking, it's almost perfect because I work at one skill at a time. For example, I might want to work at one skill where I'm keeping my neck up. I don't want it to drop down. I don't want it to move my head. Because Indians, they move their head a lot. You know what I mean. Oh my God, like don't move your head a lot. Like when you're talking to women, like that's not like a good thing, No offense, but I'm just saying. Another thing is that a lot of people, they don't talk with their hands. They call it the Chinese three hands. No offense to Chinese people, but they don't know how you use the hands, so they move it up like this 3 times. And using this in the Elite 30 from Hard Case to Hero, I actually talk about the Chinese three hands. I can't believe I actually said that, but there is a Chinese three hands. That's uncalibrated. That's very, very uncalibrated. So there is a thing called calibrations, social calibrations. It is a skill that you can master. And sometimes like I record my own voice and I can compare it. I can see if it sounds good or not. I can see if this is like correct or not. And sometimes having some feedback, a lot of the students, whenever they think they're good, because they're seeing from behind their eyes, they're feeling all confident. They're feeling like they're very, very good at this. So what's happening? Any thumbs up? Just one thumbs up. Okay, you guys don't get it. It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to help anyways. So for some of the people, okay, what was I saying? They don't get it. So I sometimes record their voice on my laptop. And I say, can you say that again, right? Can you do that opener again? And they're like, oh my God, you want me to do the opener? I'm pretty good. And I was like, okay, we'll see. And they're like, excuse me real quick. They sound angry. I have a question. You have a creative and artistic look about you. Are you? And they're like, what the fuck? They're like, oh my God, do I really sound like that? I was like, yes, motherfucker, you sound exactly like that. Hey. And I was like, oh, then they're like, oh shit, John, you are right. I'm so sorry. They're like, their emotions were out of whack. And that's the problem with some of the students when they have autism and they have sociopathy. Their emotions are all off. So I recommend turning off all the emotions. It's kind of like a light switch. So you got to imagine there's a light switch, off, 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 off. It's kind of like the control panels. You know what I mean? The control panels, that's on the bottom of your house in the basement. The electrical switches. You must learn how to turn it off. So it's not really about emotional impact because the wrong emotional impact will really hurt things. I hope that makes sense. You want to have the right emotional impact. And to have the right emotional impact, this is how you do it. If you're flirting or something, you have to have more of a flirty kind of vibe. You can feel it when I'm speaking to you guys. It's like mesmerizing the entire audience. You talk a little bit slower and lower. And the women can really feel it. And that's an important thing. This concept of changing your vibe. And you can be, very, very sexual. It's almost like John's vibe can change. The energy goes more sexual. So having this calibration, this control, the only way you can really control and, show that emotion out there is when you can turn off all the light switches first. When you turn off all the light switches, because sometimes the switches are the wrong emotions. And of course, people say, well, John's kind of angry and Tyler is positive. Tyler is not positive. He manifests nothing but a death. They're a death cult. Me and Dan Pena, you might say, John's yelling a lot like Dan Pena. You motherfucker, you can't say all that stuff. But in reality, this is actually a lot better because the manifestation is always positive. Students are always getting results. They're always improving their lives. But the problem is that the emotions are wrong. Tyler is all fucked up. He's always like sociopathic. And he's showing or transmitting this vibe, this vibing it. And the whole world doing this spam approaching is ruining your lives. And that's what you don't realize. All your lives are ruined because RSD Tyler believes you need to take massive action. And that's the problem. And I want to educate you guys. That is not about massive action. I even practice right in front of a mirror until it's natural, one piece at a time. That's my course, Kaizen. The students have to work at one thing at a time. Maybe it's the neck. Maybe for them it's a neck. And I take this thing to the extreme. I take it so extreme. I should not show you guys this, but I even bought a neck brace. Seriously. I bought a neck brace so I can even practice the neck being perfect. And you're thinking, John, that's fucking crazy. I got a back brace for everything. I take everything to the fucking extreme. Like, I want perfection. And that misconception is a numbers game. I don't believe it's a numbers game. I believe it's a game of value. So when you look at everything, right, you're looking at social skills. Social skills is value. Social calibrations, it's called skill. Social skills, social calibration is skills. Emotional intelligence is skills, guys. That's 3 skills right here. 1, 2, 3, right here. All skills. And lastly, the 4th one over here, game. You guys are so focused on only like the small percentage. You're not focusing on the other 3. Does that make sense? There's actually more skill over here, more calibrations, because you guys believe in this red pill ideology. Because of this red pill ideology, you kind of fuck yourself over. That's why I make the videos about the pills, and there's going to be more videos about more pills. I hope that makes sense. So basically, now that you can start improving your skills, if this is the ad again, the concept, rather than spam approaching with a shitty ad, they're trying to spam approach enough times until they get laid. So they might spam approach 5,000 ads or 5,000 approaches. And you can see how dangerous that really is. Can you see it? That is so dangerous. If this was calibrated, you don't need as much to get to the CTR, the click-through rate. That means once everything's calibrated so it's like not a game of game. It's a game of skills. So looks is fucking value. Money is value. Money is value. Race, lifestyle is value. Social skills is skills. Emotional intelligence is skills. Social calibration is skills, and game is persuasion. You see that? Game is a very small piece, and now people are realizing, well, how did John get 430 late poll testimonials? Did you think it was because of game? Every time a coach is red pill and they say it's all game, they are trying to game the audience, because this is what you want to hear. You want to hear it's all game because it's easier to listen to that like that. When you think it's game, you just focus on game because it means you don't have to put in the work to learn the skills. Here's the problem with skills. You guys see it from 1 to 10. How good is your skills? How good is your actual skills? So in terms of sales, if I taught somebody who could not close many deals, and that's his job to close deals, and he's able to close $1.8 million worth of deals in 10 days, how much skill is out of 10 is there? Probably 90%. Exactly like my 90% close rate when it comes to sales. I'm naturally gifted as a salesman, but I don't use it to game the audience. I'm not going to do that at all today. I'm just going to give you guys value. I'm just going to give you guys value. I don't give a fuck about the money at all. Like I said, I give another student Elite Playbook as a gift, even on my fucking birthday, even though he's annoying as shit for being an Indian guy. Last year, I've dealt with, bullshit last year too. Exactly on my birthday, the Indian person. And that's okay. It happens. It happens. But John is here to help you guys. John does not give a fuck about your money. And in the economic downturn, when the coronavirus is hitting, it makes more and more sense to start focusing on game when you're practicing in front of the mirror at home. Practicing at home, guys. That's really, really what you guys do not get. If you start practicing in front of the mirror at home, you're going to get way, way better. You're like, oh shit, but John, all the coaches said this spam approach. But you got to think, the other coaches, are they tall, white, black guys or looking guys? Are they muscular? Are they taller than you? If that's the case, then why listen to them? Because they're running an ad. It's kind of like they have the money to run ad. They're a more valuable person, genetic advantages. And they get more CTRs, click-through rates. They get more click-through rates. That's what you guys do not understand. Because they have a genetic advantage, they have more click-through rates because they are a product that's more valuable. Like I said, value, value, value. Skill, 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 game. Because they're red pill, you have to ignore their value. You have to ignore their value, and that becomes a big problem. That's what they don't want you to know. If you guys get this, give it a thumbs up, because I'm saying some real shit, some real talk here, some real talk, and I don't give a flying fuck. So that's the skills. You should be focused on your skills, and you should isolate them. And when the coronavirus is here, guys, let me talk about this. It's pretty serious. A lot of you guys are very scared, especially the sheeps and stuff. You guys are very terrified. I would say learn how to reduce your emotions of fear. Fear can get the best of you guys. Like I said, with all the light switches in the basement for all the power, turn them off. Fear, off. Negativity, off. The buying toilet paper like crazy, off. Off, 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 off. Does that make sense? Turn it all off. And you choose the positive emotions you want to turn back on. Maybe you just want to turn on one or two. You just want to turn on one or two. And you'll be like, okay, I want to turn on maybe gratitude. I'd be grateful that I'm still alive. Yeah, I'm grateful that, that you still have a job. Two emotions. Turn off all the negative emotions. Low self-esteem, anger, all that other stuff. Turn them off. Egotistical behavior, turn off all those negative behaviors. And now you're starting to realize if this is all a skill, right? And people do practice at home. People do practice at home. When it comes to public speaking, they call it rehearsals. It's the same as sales skills. People actually practice a script at home. Hey, excuse me, my name is John. You got a minute? You ever heard of John Elite Dating? Yeah, that's my company. Yeah, the reason I'm talking to you today is because the sales have a skill. There's a certain tonality, even for high ticket. When you're selling more expensive stuff like the other guy, you'll be speaking more like an authority sort of figure. You're speaking more like an authority. The voice changes. And now you realize there's so much skills to learn, guys. You guys are missing out. You should be practicing. You practice in front of the mirror. Or you can practice with me. And there are many, many courses I have right now. Kaizen, one part at a time with your body language. Maybe day one is to learn how to isolate the neck. I'm not saying you need a neck brace, but this is a brilliant fucking idea because you can't Indian this shit. You can't Indian this shit because your neck cannot fucking move. Hope that makes sense. And the second thing is that it's not just the Kaizen. Elite 30, I'm going to give half a Skype because I want you guys to practice at home. I want you guys to practice at home. This deal will only last until the end of June. Hope that makes sense. It only lasts that long. Elite Playbook, I want you guys to have more time to spend with me to teach you these skills. Not game. I mean, there's tons of game already in there. The skills. I'm going to add one more Skype. I'm also going to add one more Skype for the bundle of Elite 30 and Playbook. Boot camps. I'm going to help people. This is my birthday. It's my birthday. I can help people if I want to. I don't give a shit. Everyone's suffering. I'm going to help people. Boot camps. As long as you don't have the coronavirus. Okay? As long as you don't have the fucking coronavirus. Bring a face mask. If you take 3 days of boot camp before now until June, this is 2020. And the coronavirus is here. I'll give you 1 day free. 3 or 4 days, 1 day free. If you take it like 3, 4, 5. Take it 6 days. 5 days. You get 2 days free. That's becomes 7. You're like, oh shit. And lastly, you take it 7 days. I give you 3 days free. 10 days. You most likely get laid on the boot camp. Usually around 4 days or something, most people get laid. That's like, that's really awesome. It's like, wow, that's amazing. Happens all the time. Every single student I had, because I taught skills, game, value. And they have to get my haircut that I tell them to get. They have to use the same clothing I tell them to get. And for them, because they're calibrated, they no longer have to spam approach. And that is the important lesson for today. RSD is just basically running ads, lots of ads. It's the same as spam approaching, and they're hoping by enough ads that somebody that clicked through it eventually buys their product. So the same mentality of waiting until somebody buys a product because they run so many fucking ads or spam approaching is dangerous. You rather have people that click through it and buy it quicker. Buy it quicker because you have more game. You can pull them back home and convert them. And you can't do that when you don't have calibration, guy. Like, seriously, when you don't have calibration, guys, it'll ruin everything. Hope that makes sense. I'm going to go back to the front. I'm going to read some of the questions. So let's see what's up. See what's up. What's up, John? Most dating coaches say it's all numbers. No bullshit. How to build comfort. Happy birthday, John. Oh, thanks. Hey, John, what's up? Bulk up. Okay. Haircut looking fire, 100%. Thanks, man. Man, Todd, love what you're saying. Excellent. Excellent. Basically, you guys have any questions regarding the spam approaching thing versus numbers game versus like, calibrations? If you can't bring a woman back home in the very first approach, you're doing something wrong. You must raise the standards, guys. You got to raise the standards. You cannot have your low standards anymore, especially with RSD kind of standards. Let's answer a few questions about this particular topic. If not, I will go because today's my birthday. I want to spend it doing something. And outside, everyone is scared. Everyone is sort of like, all the malls are closed. Everything's closed. All the restaurants are closed. Costco is completely cleaned out. Not just toilet paper. It's not just toilet paper, guys. They're cleaned out with everything. Every single food item, everything's gone. That's fucked up. This is what happens when the sheeps get scared. They get very, very afraid. And then when they get afraid, they all think the same. And for me, right now, I'm thinking about improving my skills. Maybe I want to improve my copywriting. Maybe I want to learn how to write some sales letters today. Maybe I want to go for the best company, the most aggressive one that makes the most money. So this is a good time to be working on your skills instead of getting fearful. What's the difference between spam approaching and a regular approaching women? That's a good question. There's no difference, really. For most of you guys that are not my students, you guys are just like, you have different races. Some of you are like white people, or they look white. Some look like black. Some look like Latinos. Could be Indians looking like Latinos. Middle Eastern, Pakistani, whitewash Indian. There's a hierarchy. Short blacks. There are some places that are easier for short blacks, like New York and Toronto, but then you got your short blacks, curry Indians, that very negative stereotype Indians. No offense, guys, and you got the Asians at dead last. You got Asians at dead last. So even when you're approaching, a lot of you guys, because you start with hi, you're cute. Hi, you're cute. I want to come by and say hi. 3 minutes of conversation. So, and then at the very, very end, so it's always the same thing. It's always hi, you're cute. Hi. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And then number close. Number close. Hi, 3 minutes, number close. So if you're doing exactly the same thing, you're always going to get the same results, which is going to be like all rejection and get a lot of approaches. So the guys who are higher on the race hierarchy is going to experience it. The guys who are taller, guys who are stronger, they're going to experience more success than you guys. I hope that makes sense. And I know that doesn't sound very fair, but you're not here to SMV it. You're not here to just spam approach by being a better product of value. Good stuff, John. Thanks. I used to do method for moment openers and transition, but the girls say, no, I'm non-creative. I'm not athletic. Suggestions for transition. All right. I'm not an artist, for example, right? Or I'm not like athletic. Oh, come on. Like, you look kind of athletic to me, right? If you're not athletic, what do you do then? You see that? You just transition like that. You know what? You look very athletic to me, or you look like an artist. But if you're not an artist, seriously, what do you do then? If you're not an artist, you change the conversation. She does not say anything. You look like you are this or that, XYZ. You look like a nurse. She's like, I'm not a nurse. Well, come on, I don't agree with you. You disagree. It's like, what are you really? It's like, oh, I'm actually like, I work as a digital artist. Speaking of digital artists, right? I used to want to be one myself. Like, I wanted to be a conceptual designer. What a shitty job. I fucking hate it. So speaking of conceptual designers, they're in demand these days. But why do you want to do something like this in particular? Is one of your dad or mother like an artist or something? I'm just curious. She might say, well, actually, my dad is an artist, but I'm not sure how good is he, but nobody else in my family knows how to draw. That was actually very different for me and my family. So now you talk like 90%, you talk a little bit more in the beginning. Then you have to move it to 80%, then 70. So it's like 90-10 in the elite playbook. I mean, elite 30, 80-20, 70-30. You guys get it? Eventually, you want to get to 50-50. And sometimes you got to use statements of empathy. It's kind of like, listen, I know it's random. I'm talking to you. And you got to call out her emotions. You'd be like, you don't seem like somebody, you seem a little bit nervous. Is it the scars? No, I'm just joking, but I'm just curious. So my father was my father. No, I'm joking. He's not an artist, but he was very good at drawing Jeeps, and he's very good at that. My grandfather can draw tigers. Seriously, what made you want to do digital art instead of traditional medium? And when she's giving you resistance, at this point, you want to say, like, you want to tease her. My students would tease her in the boot camps. My God, like an artist, right? You probably don't know how to speak, you just know how to draw and stuff. What's wrong with you? And she's like, oh, I'm just joking. Now she's facing you again. Now she's like on the line. And now she's answering your question. Well, I used to be in traditional art, and now I transitioned from traditional art into a digital creative artist. And you're like, you have to listen to the keywords, guys, because it's a skill. Listening is a skill. And you can't do sales or game or social skills without listening to the keywords, guys. So you'd be like, oh, okay. So, I transitioned from traditional. A lot of people say traditional art is not as good, or maybe traditional art's better. It's kind of like you can't really Photoshop things. You have no Control Z to rewind. Why did you decide to do traditional art? And what are your major influences? Sometimes I like to ask two questions. Well, she says, I like to do traditional art. I was a big fan of Rembrandt. And the reason why I chose that is because originally my grandfather had this collection of Rembrandt and everything. You see that? You listen to all the keywords. Rembrandt collection, this, that. And now you can start to, do 70-30. Yeah, speaking of Rembrandt, I'm not a big fan of Rembrandt. I have more of a collection of Leonardo da Vinci kind of stuff. He's such a Renaissance man. See, now it's like 70%. You don't talk more than you have to. And then you start asking a question. If you can go back in time, right, and you can invent something like one of them, what would you have invented if you can bring it back in time? I'm seriously curious. Well, she says, well, I want to invent a helicopter because Leonardo da Vinci invented that. Oh, yeah, I totally get what you mean, right? So for me personally, I wish I could invent like some kind of like flying machine too. It'd be awesome. People would be so inspired. And she's like, yeah. And then she starts opening up more. So what else do you find inspirational? What kind of art do you really enjoy? Like, why video games? And she's like, well, actually, I didn't want to do video games at first. I want to do 3D animation. And he's like, go on. And then now you can flirt because she's opening up. Now you can flirt. Oh, by the way, just looking at you, right? Just right now, when you're talking about art, do you know like women who are like artists and stuff? I heard they're very good in bed or something. Like, I'm just joking. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. And she's like laughing, haha. But speaking of art, now you can go to 60-40. You guys get it? To 50-50. And you're like, holy shit, John, how the fuck do you do that so fast off the top? Because it's called skills, guys. It's called skills. Skills, skills, skills. Holy shit, right? Skills, skills, skills. Sales skills, public speaking skills, emotional intelligence skills in game. The game is actually the least important part, guys. That's the big secret. The reason why Blue Pill, when I made that video, most people in Blue Pill have girlfriends or they know how to actually socialize in social circles. You guys should be focusing all on social skills. Even naturals. Naturals are really good with women. They even practice. They sharpen their saw. They talk to people all the time. They socialize. They even bring home female friends. They get used to the polling. And then they go out there and they attack, approach. Same idea. So the sales skills is just the persuasion. It's just a very small part of the entire skill set, guys. Very small part. If you guys are getting this, give it a thumbs up. I know it's really amazing to think like, who's texting me right now? Fuck. Okay. Okay, another student. He's taking Elite 60. Elite 60 is a brand new program. It teaches you high income skills. It teaches you all of this other stuff. But it's a top secret experimental program. It's about emotional intelligence, guys. Like right now, when you hear me speak, right? I'm speaking in such a way that's very caring. The tonalities kind of match. You wonder, how the fuck is John, does he know how to act? Can he speak like this? Can an Asian person actually have these kind of emotions and these expressions? How come of all Asian people, how come John is the only one that can actually, like move his face around and stuff? How come John's the only one that's calibrated? How come John is the only one who can talk in such a way that's congruent to everything he's saying? Where does he get his skills from? Where does he get his skill from? It doesn't make any sense. But I'm telling you, for Asian people out there, most of them have a poker face. So imagine they're a boring ad right here. They just basically poker face like this. Poker emotions. They're trying to be cool. Because the white dating coaches told them to be cool. So they're like, hey, I thought you're cute. I want to come by and say hi. Poker face. Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Oh, wow. Oh, cool. Anyways, and trying to be cool, hands in the pocket. Ah, I see. Mm-hmm. Anyways, what's your number? We could go and hang out. Okay, flicked on. Because they don't have the social calibrations to change their facial expressions, to hit different notes when they're speaking, and the body language, hitting the right notes. So this is just a very short YouTube live. I just want to touch base and let you guys know. Check out my site, www.johnnylee.com. On the front page, I'm offering a lot of deals on my birthday. This goes until the end of June. I want to help you guys. I don't give a fuck about the money, but if you can learn how to train at home, then whenever the curfew from the coronavirus, whenever the lockdown stops, you guys, when you're back out there, you cannot make that many approaches. Don't you guys see? If you can't make any approaches, doesn't it matter to have a good click-through rate, a good closing, a good sale? Just like ads, you only have like maybe 3 or 4 approaches at most. If you fuck it up, women will get scared because of the social distancing. If you guys get it, give it a thumbs up, because this is some real shit I'm talking about here. This skill is going to help you during this year, because use it or lose it, guys. If you guys don't use the skills, especially learning from me, and you try to SMV it, learning from a positive stereotype, you guys are going to just get destroyed in terms of the game. You guys will not survive the game. You're going to lose your skills. You want to learn some real skills. JohnnyLee.com is the only place in the whole internet that you can learn this kind of skill. Any more questions? That's a good question, by the way. You see, it's all automatic. It just flows off the top. It flows off the top so easily for me. The game, social skills, all that stuff, all that tonality, it just flows perfectly easily. Right? It's just so fucking easy. If there's no more questions, I'll leave, because I'll try to be here more often. You guys need me. Looks like a few people is dropping off. Maybe it's time to end it right here. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy my watch here. Everything you say about the game is real. It is too real, because when you separate all the pills, for example, I was making a video about red pill and blue pill and purple pill. I'm gonna make it black pill and MGTOW. When I make all this shit, right? Because I'm trying to deprogram you guys. You guys been all brainwashed. Every single time a coach tries to tell you that it is all red pill, it is all game, you ignore the things about the coach. You ignore if he has a genetic advantage, a better product, the value. You ignore the skills. You only focus on the game. Only focus on the game. And this is where it really, really screws you guys up. I hate to tell you guys, but you guys know it. Look at it. Is it always the positive stereotype tall dating coaches who are always telling you that it is all game? Are they red pill? Are they trying to game you? So instead of gaming women, are they trying to game you? Do they think you're sheeps? Do they know that a lot of you guys are broken people? As they said, remember the RSD guy in the red pill video? He says a lot of these guys are already like hurt. They're already hurt. So RSD tries to blue pill you first and then bring you to red pill. They have like a perfect script for doing things like this. And they're very, very influential. In fact, a better mental filter to think about RSD is that, imagine you had this game show and you say, let's pick like 10 people here and we're going to turn them into dating coaches. These are all marketers. These are all marketers. This guy, Tyler, this guy, Todd, fuck you, Todd. Todd's not scientific. He don't know shit. He has no testimonials, just one. And he says, Jeffy, Madison, he says that Julian, he collects all the Max. Okay, now all of you guys are going to be dating coaches, okay? So you have to make advice videos. And for you over there, you're the leader. You are over here. You're going to be on the side. You're going to do some crazy shit, Julian. You're going to grab women by the neck and try to like strangle them. As fucked up as that sounds, it really is disgusting. Hell yeah, what they think we're sheeps. They all think you're sheeps. I swear, every single dating coach, the reason why they're not on YouTube right now or they're not making videos is because they don't think they can make money from it. I'm not here to make a single fucking dollar. You don't have to train under me if you don't want it. I'm here to just help people. And I already given one of my students on my birthday a free course, Elite Playbook, because he's been wanting it for so long. He just couldn't afford it. I want to do something nice. And he was mentally kind of fucked today. And I helped him get over that, just like the red pill guy. John cares about his students. Other coaches, they're all gaming you. They don't give a flying fuck. It's too much work. They can't be arsed with it to be on YouTube right now because there's no money in it. There's no money because of the coronavirus. They don't give a fuck. And when they try to pretend to give a fuck, it wears them the fuck out. I'm not like that. I don't give a shit. I'm just here to help people. That's the most important thing. And I'm trying to warn you guys, when I make the pill videos, red pill, blue pill, purple pill, you see black pill, you're like, holy shit, John's trying to warn us all. Holy shit, John actually risked telling everyone the truth. John was never red pilled. John was not blue pill. John's not purple pill. John does not believe there are separate pills. He believes they're all continents. They're all like a different continent. Here's a different continent. Here's a different continent. Here's a different continent. You guys are separating it because a lot of the sociopathic mindsets, guys, a lot of sociopathic mindsets, and you separate all these concepts that should not be separated. Hope that makes sense. You use empathy to get them on the line, but they still look at me like, why on earth is he talking to me? Often scared. Advice getting them on the line using Zara Blazer. Well, the thing is that it really depends because you want to mirror them, okay? So AD, you want to mirror the women. If they're not feeling you, it's because sometimes you can't feel emotions. If they're touching their shoulders, you want to touch your shoulders. If they're leaning this way, you want to lean this way. Does it make sense? But you want to make sure they don't catch you. This is what they call tactical empathy. You want to actually mirror them to the point where you can feel the connection. So if they're talking slow, if they're talking like in a level, kind of like over here, you do the same thing because they're slowing down. Hope that makes sense. You try to match everything. You try to even match their blinks. It's almost like a very unfair tool when you know how to empathize, because the problem is that some people are so fast and they're very sociopathic and they're very what they call it, uncalibrated. They'll have a body language like this, pretending to connect. So they could not connect. So they'd be like, I see, yes. Tell me something interesting about yourself. You probably caught yourself doing that. Tell me something interesting, something I never would have. That's one of my lines in the Elite playbook. I would have thought about you. Yes. So that becomes fake. So you don't get the same connection, the same vibe, the same energy. And women are a reflection. They're like a mirror. Whatever you manifest, whatever you feel, it'll be like a state transference. They'll feel it, the wave of energy. And for them, when they sense like you don't really care about them, you're only in it to get laid, you don't give a fuck about them, it's not win-win. They will start to go away because you've never reached the level of social comfort. You never reach 50-50. Sometimes when it gets stuck, right, 90-10, 80-20, you got to tease, dude. You got to tease so that way when you move there, you got to flirt. So it becomes man to woman. If you don't do that and you don't get to 50-50, right, you're basically just spam approaching, 3-minute conversation, like I said. And then when you get to here, she doesn't connect. I hope that kind of answers your question. There are some issues in the stage before. You never got her on the line because sometimes teasing is hard for you. Maybe sometimes the tonality thing. Sometimes record yourself and they hear how you sound like when you tease. Because a lot of guys are like, teasing. By the way, I don't really like your shoes. They're very monotone like that. I don't like your shoes. And she's offended. She's like, what the fuck do you say to me? But it should be like, seriously, I don't really like your shoes. I was joking. It has to be up here. You see, I have to hit the right notes at the right speed in order to tease around her. Like Donald Trump was kind of like, I don't really like your shoes. I was just joking. You need the facial expressions and you don't have it. The name of the game is called congruency. Tactical congruency, guys. That's the secret. That's how you're going to get the women on the line. And when you're connecting, you're not congruent because your facial expression is because of the narcissism. You don't really care because you're so busy talking about yourself. And guys who are very narcissistic, they always talk about themselves. They're always like, you know how great am I? You know what's great about me? Let's talk about me. I'm so great. You know what else is great about me? And she walks away because you're not focused on her. You should be thinking, how can you be narcissistic about her? I'll say this again. Instead of being narcissistic about yourself, how can you be narcissistic about her? You're like, oh shit. So there's a different mindset. If you're curious about her, kind of like an old man, You know how old men on the bus are always so curious, like, hey, Sonny, how's it going? Are you like a college student or something? What do you do for fun? You live around, they're always curious. If you can get that kind of vibe and you can show that you actually do care, yeah, okay, she's going to open up. And that's what you want. That's where you get the keywords. That's where you get the trust. Hope that answers your question. It is a congruency problem, a vibe problem, emotional problem, and too much narcissism on yourself. And you haven't got to the line. You haven't got her to submit to the point where she's willing to do 50-50 to the point of social comfort. Hope that makes sense. Like I said, if you want training and you have my courses, you can always use the Skypes. If you didn't have the Skypes, that's too bad. Maybe try something like Kaizen or a different kind of course. Next question before I lose my voice. Like before, I lost my voice all the time on YouTube Live. I swear it's not coronavirus. I've been coughing all year. Thanks, man. Solid advice. Excellent. All right. If you guys like it, give it a thumbs up. I'll be back on YouTube Live if that's the case. If I see a lot of thumbs up by the end of this video, you know, maybe in hours or a few hours from now, I will come back on YouTube Live. And even if there's a coronavirus, everyone's afraid, I'm going to help all of you. I'm going to help all of you because now everyone's stuck at home. You guys need help. You guys need help in a good way. Remember, practice at home. Record your voice. I bet when I play this back, when you guys listen to this again, the entire recording of this, you're going to realize that John's voice is actually very calibrated. He can speak in such a way that it's very calibrated because it's a skill. If John can teach another student in 10 days to win 3 competitions of Toastmasters, and he's probably going to win the world champion, this is a skill, guys. This is a skill. And all that time you thought I was angry, maybe you didn't like my personality. That is okay. I'm not going to judge you. But if he can close $1.8 million in sales using my exact same mental filter, my exact same skills, 1.8 million is in a short amount of time is impossible. That guy could barely close shit. That guy, let me tell you, that student was actually an RSD victim. They fucked up his mind because they always tell him, you got a spam approach. You got to take massive action. So in his life, when he's trying to build a skill, he's trying to go from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to conscious competence to unconscious competence, automatic. He always tries to go right to the automatic phase. So therefore his skills, he's trying to spam approach. He would do like 5,000 approaches easily, or in a day, 50 approaches, like nonstop. And when he does something like that, you know what happens to him? His skills start to go down. His click-through rate goes down. Hope that makes sense. What's your definition again? Don't say that you got the virus because I'm saving up for text. I don't have the virus. I'm just joking, dude. I will never have the coronavirus. You know, you can't kill a legend. What's the definition of game? Persuasion. Game is persuasion. It is like the other stuff, as I said, sales skills, copywriting, public speaking, consulting. That's what I do with the other job now, you know, to help the student. He wants me to be a consultant. These are all different skills, different skill sets. But the game is more like sales. So let me ask you guys a question. If game is like sales, for example, okay? Game equals sales. And you guys think, oh, if I focus on game, right, won't I close more? But don't you have to sell? Let me ask you guys a really good question. Okay, mindfuck. Don't you guys have to improve the product to sell? If you want to get a click-through rate, right? This button. Don't you have to have a good product? Are some of the coaches already good products? Are they already good products? Now you're thinking to yourself, holy shit, you're right. So don't you see why they're talking about red pill? Don't you see it's easier for them to sell themselves when they're SMVing and spam approaching and number gaming on women? Isn't because they have a high race advantage, high height, high muscles. Don't be fooled by the looks, guys. Don't be fooled by the looks, because it's not about looks. Don't you see they're trying to talk about the looks? They're trying to socially distance, so they focus on the looks and red pill. Don't you guys see it is improving your value? So if you're going to sell something, and I could be the very best salesman in the world. My name is John. By the way, based on everything you told me, I have the perfect course for you guys. you have any objections? I can do sales like crazy. I'm natural at it. I'm a natural, you know? But I'm telling you guys, even if Johnny Elite's game is at 11 out of 10 of all the coaches, because if they're already like a tall looking black guy or a white guy, their SMV is already 8 out of 10. So tall black, 8 out of 10 for race. Looks 7, whatever, money like 2, 7, 8, 16, 15, 16, 17. That's already 17. Their game is 3 out of 10. You see that? 3 out of 10. If it's not above 3 out of 10, then they're close. So when they try to teach somebody like an Asian guy or a person with lesser SMV, right, that actually is not transferable. So if it's a white guy, for example, let's say he's not 8, let's say he's 10. Let's do the math here. For white people, let's just say a random white guy, dating coach. Their looks around 7s, that's 17. Their money is maybe 1, they wear shitty t-shirts. 17, 18, their game is only 2. Get it? The game is just 2. You're like, oh shit, they don't have much skills. That's why they can't teach you skills. They're just SMVing it. You're like, oh fuck, John, like you're serious. You're saying these guys have so much value that they get over the line 20 out of 35. That's exactly what I'm saying. You guys are getting this. Give it a thumbs up because I'm reviewing this red pill nonsense. That's why I decided to make videos about it. Of this bullshit that these guys are trying to screw you guys over. You guys don't even see that. You guys are seeing like John's not the most positive. He's not the most happy. No, because I'm so passionately angry that these guys are all trying to screw you over. It really hurts me on the inside, especially like I try to treat my students, you know, how Jesus treats people like sheep. Not in a bad way, like a shepherd. He wants to take care of his flock. Or you see like how a parent, you're looking at their kids and they have temper tantrums and they're like, I don't agree with you. I see it like that. I see it like I'm really trying to help you guys, but you guys are not mature enough mentally to understand the game. You guys don't understand because you think it's all game. But in reality, you have to be a better product. So for them to get over the line, if this is the line of fuckability, guys, they're already way up here. So they just need a little bit of emotions to vibe past that line because they're already a better product. They can spam approach. They can approach more. Their click-through rate is going to be much higher than yours. So if a coach is taller than you, stronger than you, has a higher race advantage than you, there is nothing they can teach you. I hate to say it, white dating coaches, it should be illegal for them to teach day game, especially when Johnny Elite has 430 late poll testimonials. And you guys wonder, you guys don't understand the number. You're like, John, I don't understand. What does the number mean? 430. What does 430 late poll testimonials? You guys have no idea. I'm going to post another 30 bootcamp trailers, guys, of students pulling or getting laid. 30. I've only posted like maybe like 5 or something. You're like, holy shit, John. Why do you not post it? Won't you make more money? I don't give a fuck about the money, dude. That's how good. Every single student has pulled or got laid except for 3. Every single one has. After a certain time when I was John Wayne to now. When I was gaming elite in 2014, there are some people that slipped through the cracks, but I was still learning back then. I was still learning. But when I was John Wayne to Johnny Elite, it is over like 90-something% of the students pulling or getting laid. Because you guys realize, is it John's game? Even if John's game is 11 out of 10, okay? Let's just say game, instead of 2, right? It's 11. The race is still 1. That's 12. You see that? Looks. So it's like 10s for the race. 1's here. 1, 2. You see what I mean? There's a lot of the game, but game is not everything. Because for Asian people, even if you had the perfect game, you still need to work on your skills, and raise your value, your fashion. That's the real talk here. Women instinctively can detect if you're angry or if you're like full of adrenaline. Like a lot of students, they have Asperger's or they have autism. When they have autism, their adrenaline glands goes crazy, fight, flight, and freeze. Always angry or they're always scared. They freeze up. Freeze up. When they freeze up, guys, what happens is that women can see that. Women see that guy's timid. He's scared. He does not have good genes because he doesn't have survival value. You're like, oh shit. He doesn't have survival value. You're like, oh my God, John's right. So it's all about values. It's about being 20 out of 35. It's that simple, guys. Just being 20 out of 35 will get everything done. That's why it's important for Asians to worry about the fashion. They need to raise their fashion. But the thing is that Asian men do not want to work on the skills. And you can practice the skills with me in my courses, especially now that you can learn the skills at home. They don't want to learn the social skills. They don't want to learn. They just want all game. John, more game. They always say that. Game, John. Game results. Game. Game, John. Game. Game, John. John, game. John, more game. John, shut the fuck up. That's why I tell them. You dumb fucking motherfucker. Go work on your skills. You dumb fucking idiot. Skill, skill, skill. Raise your value. Come on, dude. You're like fucking 5 out of 10 in looks. Get a fucking elevator shoe, some heel lifts. My God. You see that? There is no mercy when you train under me because I care about your skills. I need to get your skills all the way up. And the only way to do that is to actually tell you the truth. Work on your skills, social skills, skills. Asian social skills. Asians don't know what social skills is because they never heard of it. It's almost like when you're trying to explain to Eskimos, you're like, hey, check this out, okay, guys? There's actually a thing called a city. There's like tall buildings and stuff. They're like, huh? What building? I don't understand. No. There are tall buildings everywhere. There's skyscrapers. There's like sky trains, and it's really tall. You guys are like, igloos, kind of like low and flat and stuff. Asians are like, but game, John, igloo, game. And they start sounding like a robot. That's the problem. When they're talking to women, they're not like natural. They sound like a robot. They sound like, excuse me, I just have a question. I was going this direction and I saw you walking this way for a little bit, for a few meters, and you remind me of my best friend Anna, and she's very creative and artistic. So when I see you, you remind me of her. By the way, are you an artist? Oh, you're not an artist. That's bad. So what do you do then? You remind me of my friend Anna. She's a little bit taller than you, but like all these fucking lines. What the flying fuck? Is that how normal people talk like? Normal people has the ability to like small talk. Do you have a way to communicate? And I was like, hey bro, what's up? Hey bro, how you doing? I'm fine, man. How are you? I'm great. Yeah, man, coronavirus is shit these days. Yeah, I hear you. All that conversations that you guys did not understand when you red pill. The reason why you don't understand it is because that's social skills. Social skills. Because a lot of you have Asperger's or sociopathic behavior and narcissism, this is off limits. This is why you're red pilled, because you blame the blue pill people for having social skills. So you want to focus on game. John, game, more game, results, game. John, game, John, game. John, more game. I have as much game as you can handle, you dumb fuck. Work on your social skills, social calibrations, and emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, guys. Learn how to turn off the light switches. Click, 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 click. For the basement, the power switches, turn them off. Because the emotions you have as a sociopathic, autistic person who's overly emotional for sensory feelings is never, ever going to be good enough. No matter how much you flirt, it'll be like an angry flirt. No matter how much you connect, it's going to be an angry connect. No matter how much you try to tease, it's going to sound angry. Does that make sense, guys? Like, holy shit. John's spitting out some real shit here. John's talking about some real talk here. John doesn't care. And John's willing to show you that all the red pill dating coaches are gaming you. All of them. Every single one of them. They're all after your money. Every single one of them just wants nothing but your money. Money, money, money. That's all they think about. Money. These guys are hurt, like the other guy said from the blue pill video. This is because these guys are hurt. That's what RSD says. They don't want to cause any more problems. So they start with blue pill and slowly red pilling you. They're all the same, guys. Every single one of them. And that's what disgusted me over the years. It really has disgusted me because I thought maybe I can make an impact on the world and I can teach people to open their mind. That's why I made the red pill, all these pill videos, because I want to deprogramming you guys. I want to deprogram you guys from all the mental bullshit. I hope that makes sense. I don't see that many likes because you're not getting it. I'm teaching you some very profound stuff here, guys. I'm teaching you some profound stuff, and there's a lot of guys who are offended by me. They're always like, John's like, showing off his watch, or John's like not being positive. He doesn't seem happy. He doesn't smile. He's not like RSD Tyler. But like I said in another video, we're in the same watch. Okay. It's called this watch is called Richard Mille. Richard Mille. I'm gonna change the date on top. So it'll go March 16th. It's like a car, right? And press like switches here. Pretty cool, right? So what was I saying? Oh yeah. They're saying John's not being positive, therefore fuck RSD. Show exactly. Fuck RSD. RSD is positive. This is how they do it. They smile at you, but their eyes look like they want to kill you, like serial killers, all of them. You look at craprism like King, you look at RSD, you look at Max, you look at Julian, you look at Tyler. They all want to kill you. They literally look like they're serial killers. And then you see the smile. So when you see the smile, because some of you have autism in possible cases, you don't see actually like the evil eyes. So what you guys see is a smile here. You only see this. So Charles Manson, right? Or Ted Bundy, a serial killer, looks like this. They ignore the evil looking eyes of Tyler. They ignore that. But if you cover the mouth in the video like this, you will see his eyes. You will see his eyes and you'll see mine. You see, actually, I'm a very caring person. But when you see their eyes up here, all you see is death. RSD is a death cult. Death cult. And I'm not going to put up with this shit no more. I'm not going to put up with this shit. A death cult entrapping your mind. A lot of guys have been RSD spam approaching after 7 years. What happens to your habits? If your skills, as I said, is unconscious incompetence to conscious competence, conscious incompetence to conscious competence to unconscious competence, automatic. And you guys are doing the wrong habits, like spam approaching ads. What will happen to your habits? If your brain is like a tree, right? Like a tree. Let's say a tree here. And there's like stems everywhere. So all these stems grow on the bottom. You see that? What happens when you have the RSD stem here and you have all these bad habits? Isn't it like learning martial arts and not learning how to do the punch properly? Isn't it like learning how to it's like you're just not learning properly how to do a punch. A proper punch is to hit with these two knuckles here, right? And you want to put this hand up here because you don't want to get hit in the face. So you can slide the punch away, right? And you want to turn the body this way, like you're stomping on a cigarette, and you want to just boom, right in the face, two knuckles, right into the face, just turn right into it. Tips turn, boom. But what happens if you learn to punch incorrectly? You start doing some weird shit like this. Because this spam approach and taking action, they're just taking massive action. When you get knocked the fuck out, and you have no defense because you got no social calibrations. Isn't the exact same thing happening to you guys with women when you RSD it, when you spam approach? It's like a very bad ad. You're just like, oh my God. Just thinking about this, it's just disgusting, isn't it? Now you guys realize it's like, oh my God, you guys are building a bad habit. So how can you fix all these bad tree roots? You have to build a new tree here, right? With my training at home. And then you got to push the roots out. Does that make sense? Now you push the roots out. I saw a video you asking Dan Pena about how to take down your RSD. What was your main takeaway from his advice in achieving this? Believe it or not, his advice is exactly the same as what I'm teaching. Because he has the same filter as me. We're both like, the same. He is at top of his industry for getting student results. And for me, I asked the question, how do you take out RSD? Well, at first, he's basically saying at first you got to spend some money on ads. He said exactly the same thing I'm teaching, ads. So you're going to test an idea. Dan Pena said, try one ad. Doesn't work? Next. That's why he says next. Get rid of it. Next one not working. Next, right? And then you've got one that works. And guess what? Now you can put the spam approach. Now you can invest more money into the ads. That means once you got the calibrations down, then you can finally 10x it. Now you can spam approach with the right calibrations. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? AD. So Dan Pena's idea is that you got to find the right ads. He says not to finger fuck with the same two strategies, the first two ads. This is exactly what you guys are doing. The first ad is just, hi, you're cute. Sorry, I want to come by and say hi, 3 minutes. Phone number, flake. Dan Pena is saying that next. And that's exactly how I approach. I'll tell you a secret. I don't approach every woman. Because all you guys are thinking spam approaching, numbers game. I gotta find some gold underneath the rock. I know which women are going to be same day late. I know. So I like the light switch concept. I can turn it all off. Off, no, no. I can walk across every woman for half an hour and say no, no, fuck no, fuck no, 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 no. And then yes, that one. Attack. If you guys get it, give it a thumbs up. I'm not supposed to talk about this. But when you have the fashion, you have the body language, and you have all the skills, she's going to be right on top of your bed in no time. I'm supposed to talk about this. But when you have the fashion, you have the body language, and you have all the skills, she's going to be right on top of your bed in no time. This is just what they call the sniper game. There's also the 3-round burst game. Kind of snipe. There's the revolver game, 1 shot, shotgun game, and machine gun game, slam approaching. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So based on Dan Peña's idea is not to like fucking spam approach try new things. That means the more women you approach, the more you have a database in your brain. Like I would tell the students, he's chasing after her. I remember that 17-year-old Latino student. I was like, don't chase after her. She's going to all reject you right away. Exactly 3 seconds. She's going to say like, oh, it's nice. Thank you for talking to me. He did it anyways. And she says exactly the same things. Like, how you know, John? I said, I know. This one's going to last about 3 minutes, right? I time it. Dun, 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 dun. It lasts 3 minutes. So how you know, John? This one might halfway go to Insta date with you. Halfway walk there. Halfway hang. How you know, John? This one's going to reject you. How do you know, John? Because like Dan Peña says, unless you've been in those situations, you can't say next, next, like a deal. Next, next, because I know. Because I've been through that so many times. I hope that answers your question. That's Dan Peña's idea. Not to spam approach, but to have the ability to test, to change the ad around until it converts. So that's the secret. So if that's the case, then there is no reason why you should try to, spam approach. You should be learning how to fold. It's like poker. Some of the best champions in the world, they don't actually fight every hand. It's like fighting every single battle, guys. Does that make sense? You're fighting every battle. What if you're able to fold? What if you're able to let go and say, no, 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 all in, no, no, no. Throw all your cards down. No, no, no. Yes, all in. Like James Bond, all in. Doing it. Like James Bond. I'm going to put everything in. Mr. Bond. And then he wins. Does that make sense? You only go all in. You only 10x it when you're calibrated and you know that hand's going to win. So when I approach, I know which hand's going to win because of the experience. I know exactly the timing. And that takes a while. That takes a lot of cataloging in your brain. So there are things you can look for. I'm not going to review everything. That would be for my students in the boot camps. I'm not going to teach them everything. And sometimes you don't even need to depend on the sniper game. You can close anybody when you got the fashion, the social skills. The phone numbers will convert. And that's what happened to my student. You see the one with the 3 lays, right? You see the one that's like, this man right here, right? John over here is the man of the hour or something. I got 3 lays, the way he talks, and whatever. I went to 10 boot camps before. You guys saw that, that trailer. It's because even for phone number closes, it still converts. Now pair that with a good Instagram. Now I can't tell you the algorithm. You pair all this stuff together, and guess what? Holy shit, powerful, powerful. Conversion tool like crazy. I can't go into more detail. That's secret. That's for the inner circle stuff. I only invite certain people, certain students who are my disciple, who is allowed to join the inner circle. And some people think it's pretty occult. It's not. I don't deal with that kind of shit. It's just, there's a lot of secret knowledge I have never shared before in inner circle. The world does not know what I teach. You're like, how come John's game has so much depth? What the fuck is with John's game? Compared to all the other dating coaches, what John talks about makes more sense. Not only that, it's field tested. Not only that, there's testimonials. It was always my style all along. I've always taught this style. I have spent 18 fucking years since 2001 field testing everything from white dating coaches. I discarded 99% of shit. I took the gold nugget. So next system, gold nugget, discard, gold nugget, discard. Eventually I found Justin Wayne. I taught his game in 2015. So there's a gold coin here, structure, rest, gold nuggets. And sometimes I see a fool's gold. romance, discard. You see that? That's how my game works. Pakistani mentor, part of the inner circle, secret society. Go bar, John. Throws it in my fucking face. Sometimes I'm too fucking stubborn to listen. John, don't be a stubborn fuck. And many years afterwards, all the concepts that was taught to me before, I'm bringing them back now. All these concepts are not new, guys. I've learned this stuff like 4 or 5 years ago, even Instagram. All this stuff. Fashion, the watches. I was taught all this stuff. The brown shoes. All this stuff I was taught by the inner circle. A secret society of the best players in the world. The world. This guy, my Pakistani mentor, when I was hanging around his mansion, fucking like 14 women. He banged 14 women in a row. And they're all like 9 out of 10 in looks. Instagram model kind of quality. I was like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. There's no way it can be Instagram models. Greetings. Hope everything's, yeah, great. Excellent. Thank you. So basically, 14 fucking lays, all Instagram models looking. It was 18 years old, all the way up to 30 something. I was like, what the fuck? The women were chasing him over text, chasing, begging, on the phone, begging them, beg. Most of you have never experienced that before because most of you guys are spam approaching. That's just spam approaching. It does not work like that for you guys. And on top of that, he kept 13 of the 14 women for all these years because he didn't want to do as many approaches. I was like, what the fuck? That's like, this is without Justin Wayne's fake funnel. Job scams and all this shit and then upsell. And it wasn't like that. It was all vibe. It was all manifestation. It was all skill. It was all the emotional intelligence. And that's a secret. I can't tell you exactly how he does it, but I figured it out. This is where you get the best mentors. And having the best mentors, you have the best mental filters. You see that? The best trees. And what happens is women do the choosing, yeah, whatever you said. Your real friends naturally have a higher understanding of female psychology than you. Yes. The Pakistani guy, he has higher than me. But, however, I'm a better teacher. He's a better PUA. When you learn from the best, you get their neural pathways. That means our brain is like synapses. It kind of grows like this. So I get to have the neural pathways and it speeds things up. What happens when you learn from dating coaches who are red-pilled, who basically are just after your money? Guess what? They teach you like roots that are fucking everything up, like RSD. You guys get it now? They're teaching you roots that are ruining your life. So you start to learn from RSD. So you're like, I learned from RSD Max. Now I'm gonna learn from Todd. More roots that are fucking you up. Okay, maybe I need to switch the instructor. I'll go to Julian. Fuck you up even more. You see that? And for you, when you come to me at the very last resort, John, I need to get laid. Fuck, I've been screwed up now. When you're spam approaching so often, you have ruined your life. You have ruined your life. Now I have to fix all the bad habits. Now you guys are like, holy shit. That's right. Spam approaching is dangerous. Most of you will quit because of spam approaching. Spam approaching equals death. Spam approaching without calibration equals death. And I hate to tell you guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but whenever someone says to you, it's all a numbers game, please punch them in the face. Seriously, it is bullshit. RSD is autism. You can't chase after women that doesn't pre-select. You want to be part of a tribe, KT. You see what I mean? The way I dress, right, is I'm part of a tribe. So a guy for the coronavirus, for example, an Asian guy, he got punched in the face because he has this fobby Asian hair. And he looks like the kind of guy who's from China. Got punched right in the fucking face. Ouch. In London, too. Because they're blaming him for the coronavirus. So you need to be in the women's tribe as a positive stereotype. Every race has a positive stereotype. Every race has a positive stereotype. Indians have a positive stereotype. Black people have a positive stereotype. No matter what race, they have a positive stereotype. Middle Eastern people, tall, completely like psychopathic. Alpha, positive stereotype. Everyone has a positive stereotype. And everyone has a negative stereotype. So if you want to be pre-selected, you need to think about the archetype. You have to have the right archetype to be pre-selected. Assimilate in terms of fashion and aesthetics. Exactly. Now he gets it. Well, I got to attend to my student from Elite 60. So. Hold on a second. Yeah, I gotta eventually attend to my student. That's all I teach you guys for today. If you guys like it, give it a thumbs up. I know a lot of you are not giving a thumbs up because it is way beyond you. You don't understand what I'm teaching yet. Eventually, one day you will. You'll look back on this video and you're like, John's right. Holy fuck, spam approaching is really evil. You should be practicing at home. And when you have to practice at home, and this is the best metaphor. I'm going to show you guys a metaphor before I go. Okay? And this is the metaphor. If you have to cut down 100 trees with an axe, right? You can cut down 100 trees. Boom. And that's spam approaching. And you want to knock down the tree. I would spend 90% of the time sharpening the axe. I'll say this again. I'll spend 90% of the time sharpening the axe. So when you go for the cut, it slices through on the very first approach. Does that make sense? She's on top of your bed. You're already escalating her. And this is done without using alcohol. I do not believe in alcohol. The sexual connection does not require, I'll say this again, does not require alcohol or wrestling with her in the bedroom. There is no wrestling. This is not systematic rape. This is skill. This is a conversion tool like sales, a conversion. You have to convert like sales. You have to see the idea sexually. You got to maneuver her back home, and you got to deal with the objections, which is a sales skill. A sales skill. And when you deal with all the objections, this is what they call calibrations. Because the selling environment might make it easier to close the women if you're a better value product at that particular location. I will highly recommend that you guys learn the right skills from me. Forget about romance. And a lot of you are really angry at me. You're saying, you gave me a thumbs down for the romance video. When I call romance a lie, Justin scamming Wayne, I'll say this so you guys understand to really hammer the analogy home. If you use romance and you're a tall black guy, you're basically driving with your fucking elbows. It's harder. You're pressing the brake and the gas with your elbows. It can be done, but it takes a lot of energy or a lot of gas to get there. You're using a romantic sexual. Okay, whatever. That's like using your feet, but your feet can still press the gas pedal. You eventually get there, but it'll take like a long time, maybe 6 months. Or you use the sexual connection, which is the steering wheel. Does that make sense? You're just using your hands and your feet. There is no bullshit. Just because Justin and Wayne says there's romance. Romance have made it harder for you to get the CTR, the click-through rate. I hate to tell you guys, when you got these dumb black people, no offense, that are big sheeps of Justin and Wayne because they show some influence. And I told you, the guy's the funnel. Justin Wayne starts with a job scam. Next, he's gonna, bring his minion coaches, the guys who are beta, the guys who are like Manny and also the other people, the short little fuck, because they'll never hit on the women. They're gonna try to make it seem like this is like grooming her for an acting scam. And then afterwards, they're gonna try he's gonna say, oh yeah, just pretend that, I'm not, you're resisting me picking you up, pretend that you're doing that. And then after you see that, they film product. He does convert her back home because he has the money and status, because he's the boss. And eventually she falls in love with him because he's gonna say like, oh, in order to get more seeking arrangements money, right? You gotta I might leave you. And she pretends to cry. I want the money. I want the money. I want the money. And then when she goes and she stays there and she's happy, she goes up the escalation ladder. She goes up the escalation ladder. So at first, she might do something small like a favor. Then eventually she has to give up her Instagram passwords. Then start to give up more and more freedoms until she's completely possessed. Until she has no more freedom. And then he's like, oh, I got her to have a tattoo in the very top. Big fucking deal. The Indian student, roommate, he's got a tattoo on his Latina girlfriend. So I don't know why it's a big deal. And this is done without all this romantic or this positive stereotype shit. This is why their coach looks like a male model and one tall black guy who looks like the Predator or something with his dreadlocks. He looks like a predator with his dreadlocks. And this is why they're able to use the locking process, because they're positive stereotype. My old roommate is really handsome and tall. But they have never seen the whole funnel. I'm not stupid. John is smarter than Justin. Johnny Lee is way smarter than Justin. I'm not fucking stupid, guys. I can see through it. There is not the skills there. There's not the skills. I don't see the skills there. Neither does my Pakistani mentor. We both think there is something wrong with the whole thing. The vibe, the energy, everything is off. Even my infields look a lot more rough than that because it's real. Because it's real. And that's the problem. I think this guy is red pilling you. And when you see the infield, it's like a sheep, right? You're giving up the authority. It's called the milligram experiment. The milligram experiment suggests that when you give up your authority, you see the infield. You're like, that's why I don't like to post like all these infields. Because I don't want people to worship me. I don't want people to worship me. When they see the infields, they no longer think. And they're like, oh, I'm going to set all the neural pathways. So when you listen to someone like Justin Wayne, all his neural pathways, or RSD, because you think like Todd Valentine doesn't even poll. And his video, it cuts off halfway. It cuts off halfway, and you guys don't even realize that for a second. It cuts off halfway, and he calls it a poll. And suddenly, in your mind, you have rewritten everything that it is a poll, even though it's not. Because he just says so, because you give him authority. The same authority, like they had this thing called the milligram experiment. Basically, a guys who walked into a room with lab coats start bossing these college students around for this psychological study. Hey, you're going to shock the other student. They're like, what? You're going to turn off the dial. You're going to shock the students. If you got the answer wrong, he said, I don't want to fucking do this. You do it. I have a lab coat. And he's like, okay, fine. Shock. Bzz. And the guy sitting there was just acting, fuck, that's painful. He's not really shocked. So he's like, turn it up. He's like, what? Turn up the fucking power. So, but okay, fine. And they start to have like PTSD. Shock. It's like Nazi Germany. You see what I mean? Shock and more. And he's just like, fine. He has submitted to authority. And that's the problem. When you look at their infields or you get enough bullshit advice videos from RSD, you've given them the authority. Even Todd Valentine, when he has not earned it, you have accepted their neural pathways. And as you know before, for 18 years in the game, I have discarded 99% of all the dirt in every dating coach's game, and I kept that gold nugget. You have accepted all the neural pathways, and you're spam approaching with it. I have done it myself already, so you guys don't have to. But you guys are screwing yourself up. You better practice at home. You better master one skill at a time. And this is what people don't want to hear. This is the real fucking hardcore real talk. I don't care if people don't like it because of it. I really don't care because I'm telling you guys the truth. And you guys know it. In the back of your mind, you're like, holy shit, John is helping people. John cares about people. John is a dating coach that gives a fuck you to all the red pill style coaches. I want to say to all the red pill coaches out there who just want to take these students' money, who gives them nothing in return. They don't even want to help you guys during the fucking recession that we're experiencing with the corona fucking virus. They don't give a flying fuck about you guys at all. They're just thinking about themselves, their money. You can see it now. You can see it now. If there's no money to be made, they're not going to be on YouTube. And if they pretend to be on YouTube, it's going to wear them the fuck out. Guess what? I'm going to be on YouTube. I don't care if I get paid for this or not. A lot of people are very scared. A lot of people are extremely terrified right now. They're extremely fucking terrified. And I'm not an emotional fucking person. For me personally, I am not emotional. Copy me. I think my logic, and I don't give a flying fuck about money. I'm here to serve you guys. I'm here to help you guys. Even if I get nothing in return. Nothing in return. I don't care. Johnny Lee cares about his students. They are his flock like Jesus. John cares. And this is my manifestation. Non-stop testimonials. I'm here to help you guys. Coronavirus or not, guess what? Guess what? I'm finally revealing to you guys a big secret that I practice at home. I rehearse everything that when I'm there, I'm never surprised. You'd be saying, John, that seems so fucking weird. How come RSD says don't, all these tall positive stereotypes says, do not rehearse, just fucking spam approach. Why, John? Why? Why are you so opposite of everything? It's simple. Let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys a real question. Okay? How much for one-on-one consulting regarding more life skills? Depends. How you reduce the flake ratio? It's very simple. It's a vibe issue. It's the vibe issue. Wait, I know who you are. I hate you. You're that fucking asshole that I hate before in the past. How much for one-on-one consulting? $233. $233. I remember you, motherfucker. positive stereotype in Sweden. You're hurting people. You're teaching them bullshit. How do you reduce flakes? It's very simple. Use Instagram and DHV that way. So that way you have more value. Get off my fucking channel, asshole. No offense. But I remember you. I remember you in this. And you're a horrible fucking person. You're a narcissistic fucking person. That's my rebuke. You're a tall positive stereotype, right? You're full of value. My other student, he's also Middle Eastern. He's also Middle Eastern. And he got a model girlfriend. Big fucking deal. 17 lays. Now he wants to get married. You guys have too much value, too little skill. Dude, relax. I'm not teaching and I'm not in any group. All right, then I forgive you. I forgive you. But basically, if you want to start thinking about conversions, my Pakistani mentor has every single 3 girls that he approaches. One of them will come home and it will be a pull to the bedroom. I thought to myself, that seems impossible. How come 1 in 3? Because most white dating coaches are around like 11%. That's 1 in 10. That's the average. Because when you look at it from a perspective of social skills, social calibrations, emotional intelligence, and game, the problem is that before in the past, when you're not using social skills, it becomes extremely difficult to have a good ratio. So it becomes like 1 in 10. I hope that makes sense. Because the emotions are not there like a natural. You'd be focusing, Sweden is overplaying. Yeah, exactly. But you want to use a little bit of the social skills because you want to fit into that social circle. Like blue pill. You want to utilize the power of the naturals and blue pill so you can game them easier. That reduces the amount of resistance that you feel. Especially since you're Middle Eastern, right? You're going to be like, they usually see you guys as rapists. No offense. You can call out statements of empathy. Hey, I swear I'm born here, right? I can speak the language. I'm not like one of these people, right? You have to call it out because it's calling out the elephant in the room. And what you want to do is that now at this point, you start vibing. Does it make sense? Yeah, that's really unfair that they see you that way because I taught students in Sweden who are Middle Eastern too. One guy got 3 lays in a row and he had a mental breakdown because she didn't want to be his girlfriend. I have to read out his testimonial because he was born there too. He was in the Swedish army too. But because they see him as lesser value, he had a mental breakdown. After the 3rd lay, she says, no, I don't want to be your girlfriend. And he just collapsed. He no longer wanted to train under me for 3MP. He's got 2 months out of it and he's already dominated like really fast. But you got to call it out and you got to start thinking about the calibrations. I've seen your infields before. You tend to have this overly dominant sort of vibe. So you got to think pressure and release, Okay. I didn't expect to change my name on the just test. Which name I got? So exactly. Because you fit into that positive stereotype, the tribe, as I'm saying, the in crowd. So basically, what you want to do is that your body language was way too dominant before. When you start touching the women like that, right? You start stopping. I remember your infields. It was too much. We had a guy like Jan Lifestyle here. He got kicked out every single mall in every single place in Vancouver because he was smashed inside the arm. You never want to just grab her on the inside because if you're using your game because your height and your size for dominance, what's happening is that when you try to grab her and stuff, that's not transferable to someone that's a lot smaller. Let's just say, for example, there's a 5'4" kind of guy who is Middle Eastern. He tries to do the same thing, right? She might actually push him away or get really scared. So you got to think, what is transferable? What goes from bottom up, not from top down? Hope that makes sense. So if you want to create the right sort of closability, it's a lot to do with the vibe. You got to think with the right body language because you hunch a lot. You see that? Get yourself a neck brace. This kind of thing does not cost a lot of money. And now, because you hunch for it, you cannot hunch your neck down. You see that? You can't bite it down. That was the problem because your neck was kind of going down a little bit forward. It looked really weird on the infield, but if you get something like this, now you cannot bite down your neck and you can retrain your neck. So this is what they call social calibrations. Once the social calibrations is very high, right, then the emotional intelligence flows from you. Because when everything is like proper, then the right emotions that you want to feel, like an antenna, goes to her. And now the women, like a mirror, they start to reflect it, right? Wow, this is good. This is the best. This is the best. I'm the best dating coach in the world for a reason. And then she starts to, because you got the first two down, right? You could fit to the tribe. And then when you do the social calibrations, right? Everything like this. And I have a back brace too. For you, you hunch a lot, right? So you want to consider getting a back brace. Although the back brace is kind of like fucked right now, it kind of fell apart. I can wear this on the back to pull the shoulders backwards. When I pull the shoulders backwards, the spine is aligned, and plus the neck, it kind of flows. If I talk like this, right, you notice that it doesn't sound as happy. It feels kind of angry. I was in Turkey. I was a lot easier to approach. It was not as reserved as Sweden. Why? Because in Sweden, they have this reputation to rape. In Turkey, you're Middle Eastern. You see that? Because they're Turkish. They're kind of like a Middle Eastern, so you fit into their tribe. You become part of the in-tribe. I hope that makes sense. There's a lot of Turkish Ukrainians and Turkish this, Turkish that. And you fit into that tribe. And you're part of the out tribe because the fashion, that's why you get the girlfriends that are more Middle Eastern. I hope that makes sense. Exactly. So that's exactly what was happening. And so basically with the back brace in the social calibrations, right? Now you have the power of social calibrations, social skills, and the right emotions happen because when the body is aligned, it's like an antenna. It connects to the universe. The universal energy is how the naturals are able to channel the right game. Me and my Pakistani mentor, we have a power of manifestation. Hope that makes sense. Energy. When you have the right body language, it's not the narcissistic vibe that you have that comes out. It's more of the caring vibe. All the right vibes, all the right game will start to flow within your brain. Your results will raise dramatically. And the rate of that 11% you have experienced due to the social calibration issues, you raise it like fucking like dramatically. We're talking about another like 45% improvement. It'll go from 10% up to like 60 something. More of the phone numbers will be there, but you need to have the right thoughts because manifestation is your emotional energy. Your energy plus your thoughts. So they need to have like two of them together. Hope that makes sense. Two of them together. So I gotta get going. But yeah, I'll get them 100%. Exactly. I hope that kind of makes sense. You're getting a view inside my mental filter. A level of game that has never been seen in the world before. This kind of knowledge is beyond what most people understand. Most girls use Snapchat, Instagram, right? Because there's a lot of This is why you need to fight fire with fire. This is why I said use Instagram. You get it? Because it's like email marketing. You need to create a conversion tool. But I can't go into details about the algorithms I use because a Chinese student used my algorithm. He got 60 lays on Tinder using it. But regardless, the Instagram stuff is top secret. It is not stuff the public knows. But that's how a 50-year-old man in Germany was using his Instagram. That's how he got his fiance. Because he raised, I can't talk about the details. It's a lot of my game is way too top secret. And most dating coaches have no idea what I teach. They never did. A lot of good-looking Western men here. A lot of almost on Tinder. Exactly. Wishes use Tinder. Exactly. So if you use day game and plus you have the right stuff in your Instagram, you can use the same tools that women are using because women are using their Instagram to raise their SMV. They're trying to feel like, oh, they have some social value. But if you close them and you have a better Instagram than them, a lot of hot women, a lot of lifestyle. I can't tell you the algorithms. This is just the two that everyone knows. Most people don't know what the other few are. You can close like crazy. So you're looking for increasing that rate of closing. And even if they don't close, you can retarget them. And eventually, they'll convert from warm traffic to hot. Hope that makes sense. I know this is very advanced level stuff because you're more of an advanced day gamer. You understand everything I'm saying. For you, this is almost like a fucking Skype session. So you recommend Instagram closing. You go slow walkers who aren't super well dressed. You're doing the right thing by going for slow walkers who are not super well dressed. But when you have the Instagram, plus she's lowering her self-esteem, right? That will raise your value dramatically. So that way you get her to come out more often. Hope that makes sense. Because now her self-esteem is lower because she wasn't wearing makeup and she wasn't dressed well. You'll try to go for the same day late, but if you cannot close it, then use the Instagram. It's kind of like a funnel. Like Justin Wayne was using this funnel I was talking about. This is like a second funnel. The first funnel is you're trying to close same day late style, But if you cannot convert, you'll get the Instagram. That will retarget her. And then she sees the value in that. And over, as you post more pictures, she will come out. Hope that makes sense. She'll make sense. All right. Hope that makes sense. So nobody's talked about this Instagram closing game, but that has solved the day 2 issue for my students. I should not be teaching this in public. This should be top secret information. If you guys like it, give it a thumbs up, because I don't see anything more than 5 thumbs up. I hope that answers your question. It's been a long time since we spoke. I hope you learned a lot. This just makes everything easier. And please not use this to teach others or anything like that. Take care. And this is the end of today. I hope you guys really enjoyed today's YouTube live. That you learn not to spam approach anymore. You learn to be calibrated, to learn skill game. Value. This would change your lives. Never listen to RSD. You must take them down, like Dan Pena says. All right, take care. Hope you learned a lot.